Hello. I see some faces already in here and it's 3 minutes to start time. So let me know who is joining. Let me know your name. I'm going to open up the chat. Make sure that you set it to all panelists and attendees so that I can see any comments that you leave. Happy Thursday. It's bright and early. 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. I'm not seeing anybody say hello yet. Let me know your name and where you're from while I get this set up. Ellen from St. Louis. Hello, Ellen. I am in Northern California in the sort of Sacramento area, the capital of California. That's where I am from. So it's lovely to see everyone popping in from all over the world. Hey, Jen. New Hampshire? I think that's what NH is. Andrea from Phoenix. Charisse from Toronto, Canada. Hello, everyone. Yay! I'm so happy to see you guys here. So today we're talking about Instagram stories and how to get the most engagement you can from Instagram stories. And more importantly than anything, why is it so important and what you can do to make sure that you're consistently getting engagement from your followers in your stories. Does that sound good? Are you excited? I am. I'm gonna go ahead and start the slideshow that I've prepared. Let me set that up really quick. Little housekeeping. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm going to turn the screen around and share my screen. All right, so you're probably seeing my Zoom screen right now, but I'm gonna hit the present. And let me know if you're seeing something that says engagement hacking your Instagram stories. That should be what you're seeing. I've got the chat open and I'm ready to get started, but I wanna make sure you're seeing what I am seeing. Okay, Ellen says yes. All right, great. So like I said, let's focus. So turn off your phone. If you're watching this on your phone, keep your phone on, obviously, but close any other tabs, get out a pen and paper, something to take notes on so that you can immediately take action on the tips and tricks that I'm sharing today. Okay, because we want to get you engagement on your stories right away. So if you've got things going on for Black Friday, if you've got things coming up for the holidays, you're going to be set up for getting more engagement and getting people to the right places that you want them to go. So here's why you're here today. Maybe you're confused by the algorithm. Maybe you've tried 100 different things and nothing seems to work. Maybe you have no ideas of what to say or post, and maybe you're not confident that anything you do will work. And ultimately, and I heard this today on my Instagram in a comment, I have no idea how to sell. Who am I to do this? And who am I to post stories like this? If this sounds like you, then you're in the right place, because I'm going to give you a lot of tips to help you be more confident in what you're posting on your Instagram stories. Because ultimately, if people are stumbling on your Instagram stories, you're doing something right to get them there, but what are you doing to get them to the next step, right? To follow you or to go to the links that you want them to go to, read your blog posts so that you can ultimately help them, right? So today's workshop, I'm going to show you why engagement on your stories matters, the right types of stories for your niche and your audience, the types of story structures that actually will get you clicks and get you the engagement that you're looking for, some design elements that will help wow and impress your audience, and obviously a bunch more. So if you don't know much about me, I'll just run through this really quick. I've grown my business from a hobby to a full-time business. I did that while I had a full-time job, 3 kids, a stay-at-home husband, and all of that pressure. And I didn't even know what I was doing 100%, but I was able to grow my business with a lot of these very same strategies that I'm sharing today and in all the other workshops that I do all the time. So the one thing that I want you to remember when it comes to your stories, your Instagram, and your business is it's so, so important that you are enjoying yourself. Am I right? If you're at the point where you're not even sure if you're having fun anymore, then you're probably looking for ways to get more joy out of your business. And in mine, there was a lot of competition in photography, and I grew a stock photo business. So even though stock photo sites exist everywhere, particularly stock photo sites, right? I really just wanted to enjoy myself and enjoy my business. So when I started, and to this day, the competition to me doesn't matter. I just stay in my lane. I focus on my business because I really want to have fun and I want to help people. So worrying about your competition and worrying about what other people are doing isn't going to serve you. So if you're here because you're feeling a lack of enjoyment in what you're doing and you're wondering how to get back to that place, then you're in the right place. Because ultimately, I knew that in order to be happy, all I needed was a small slice of the pie. Nothing more and nothing less, just my business, what I do for my customers and my clients, and serving them the best that I can. So I started in December of 2015. I grew organically. I didn't launch a bunch of ads and grow my list. I grew everything I did organically. Now I'm almost to 40,000 subscribers. I have over 1,000 members in our membership, over 17,000 Instagram followers, 25,000 at this point, 25,000 Pinterest followers, and I went completely full-time in October 2017. So I think you're in the right place if you're hoping to learn some things about Instagram. But the first and most important step for you in your Instagram strategy and your Instagram story strategies is understanding what your goals are, who you're serving, and ultimately those things are going to develop your strategy. So who knows what they're doing and who they're serving? Put in the comments who you like, what your business is about, who you're serving, who your audience is. So you need to know who your audience is right now, how you're going to solve their problems going forward, and what their current goals are and who they want to be. Okay, so people that I serve want to go full time. Maybe they've started a side hustle and they want to go full time in their business. That's who I serve. I serve people in that transition. Okay, I know who I'm serving and where they are in their business. So I know who I'm talking to and how I'm talking to them on my Instagram stories, in my Instagram posts, when I write a blog post, when I write an email. It's so important that you know who you're talking to and why you're talking to them about those things, so that you know how you're going to better communicate and serve them. Because if you are serving someone in particular, but you're using different techniques to get them to click on things and to get them to do things, then something's not aligning. And Jen says, recipe and body positivity account, hoping to serve people who love food and want positive body messages. That's great. Ellen says, I'm a virtual assistant looking for entrepreneurs, small businesses that are looking to grow their social media to the next level. That's great. So we're going to get deeper into that just a bit, because the best way for you to serve those people that you are saying that you want to serve is to develop your personal brand's mission and transformation statement. This is something that you need to write down, keep at your bedside, keep it on your desk, put it on the wall, put it as a wallpaper on your phone, whatever you can do. This is going to absolutely keep you laser focused on every single thing you do in your business and know who you're serving. So the transformation statement goes like this. I am the person that blank for blank in order to blank. So here's the example in my business. I'm the person that provides easy and fun marketing resources for small business owners in order to grow their traffic, subscribers, and profit. Does that make sense to you? Can you create in an instant at least a rough draft of your transformation statement? Because you've basically already done that. At least Ellen has and Jen has in the comments. I see that. And so if you can write this down and get very clear on who you're serving, then when you go to do stories for the week and go to create content for your Instagram, you are going to be speaking the language of the people who you are serving. And you know that when you show up in your stories, they're going to be excited by the things you have to offer because you're speaking their language. So, is that making sense? Let me see some of your examples. If you post it, rough drafts are fine. So, in today's workshop, we're talking about engagement hacking your stories. So what is it? Engagement hacking is this cycle. When we talk about hacking, we're talking about getting really nitty-gritty into the details and really getting people to go to the next level and engage with your content. So that means you're going to ask questions, get people to leave comments, get people to send you messages, get people tagging their friends, letting them know that they should be following you, getting people in your DM saying, how can I work with you? You do awesome work. I want to learn more from you. I get messages like this every single day. And it's not because I'm out there shouting to the world, 24/7, send me a DM. No, people are seeing what I'm doing because I strategically create content around what they need and what they need help with. So, and they can see that I'm helping them. So they send me DMs and asking how I can help them. And what I want is for that to happen for you. And that's how this is going to happen. Is I'm going to show you all the ways that you're going to do this through your Instagram stories. And I'm even at the end going to show you how to do that in your Instagram posts as well. So Instagram engagement hacking is all about getting people to engage with your content using meaningful social interactions. So what is a meaningful social interaction? It is not liking, because as we know, and as you may have heard through the grapevine, likes are going away, like officially. Likes on your Instagram posts are going away. So meaningful social interactions are not liking. It's not someone clicking on your stories. It's not someone viewing your stories, and it's not someone watching your stories. What it is getting them to interact with you through messages, comments, sharing, screen capturing, and saving your stories. This is how you're going to get engagement on your stories, is getting people to make those engagements and MSI, or meaningful social interactions. That's how you're going to get them to keep coming back and keep seeing your stories and keep seeing your posts, because Instagram's algorithm shows content and shows stories to people who interact with you. If they interact with you using meaningful social interactions, then the Instagram algorithm is going to continue to show your content to them. So the next time you post stories, it's going to pop up in the top of their feed. So let me know if this is already like dinging some bells for you and it's already making a lot of sense, that when you look at your Instagram profile and you look at your feed, all of the regular stories that you often see are at the top. The reason is because you interact with and engage with those stories. That's the reason you're seeing them. And that's the reason that they are at the top of your Instagram. It's because of these meaningful social interactions. So it's your job now to create meaningful social interactions. You can't just expect it to happen, you have to create content that encourages that kind of interaction. So the only way to encourage that kind of reaction is to speak the language and to create content that resonates with your ideal audience. So that's why the transformation statement and getting really specific about who you're serving is really going to create and help you create the content that serves your audience and gets them to interact with you, right? Yes. Okay. So let's keep going. So in order to repeat any strategy that gets a lot of engagement, you need to use your analytics and your insights to determine which types of stories are getting the best engagement. So if you've been using your stories, and if you've ever received a DM, or if you've ever gotten any kind of engagement from the stories before, it would serve you to go back to your previous content, go into your insights, and look at what's been performing well for you. And as you start to create more content going forward, you'll want to continually, once a week, every 2 weeks, go into your insights and your analytics and see which content got you the most clicks, which content got you the most engagement, okay? Because that is how you're going to repeat a system that works with your audience. So for me, I notice the more simple I create my stories, the more clicks I get to the links. Now, I'm going to show you some ways to get clicks. If you don't have 10,000 followers yet, then I'm going to show you some ways to get clicks to your profile without having the swipe up feature, but you can still get all the same engagement. So determine what types of stories are getting the best engagement for your audience, and use additional services and apps like Later, Planoly, or Plan to get deeper insights. So like this is Later's analytics. So on your Instagram account, you only get 2 weeks worth of data from your stories. So if you want to look further back, then get on one of these platforms, sign up for a free account on one of them. I think you get a trial at least. Later, Planoly, or Plan, they all have insights to stories going further back than 2 weeks, okay? So get yourself on one of these analytics types tools and start looking at your data. So the next thing you want to do when you're creating stories for meaningful social interaction. So when you're creating stories to get DMs, when you're creating stories to get clicks to your new blog post, or when you're creating stories to get people to click to your profile or click to your latest post, you'll want to repeat a 3-part structure for your stories. So it's basically a 3-part storyboard. It has a beginning, a middle, and an end. Okay, because that's naturally how people engage with stories. They just tap through quickly. They're doing it while they're standing in line. They're doing it on the couch. They're doing it in their spare time. So they're going to be tapping through. So once you create stories with that kind of engagement in mind, then it's much easier to get people to take action if you give them bite-sized information in a storyboard fashion. So create your stories with a beginning, a middle, and an end. And it could be as little as 3 slides, as many as 13 slides, depending on what it is you are creating engagement for. So this particular example, I did a bundle a couple of weeks ago. I was invited to include one of my courses in this particular bundle. And so all I did was I created 3 little stories, a headline for the first one, or an intro or a catchy headline, which is learning photography changed my life. And then the next one gave a little detail about what's about to come if you want to better your skills. And then the third one tells them what to do the deadline or the call to action. So you can expand upon this much greater when you're creating your storyboards. This is a very simple example, but that middle one, the details, you could actually bullet point some tips and tricks, or you could give some specifications if you're launching something, or maybe you just posted something on your Instagram and you want to tease up to your Instagram post. If you're trying to get people from your stories to your Instagram posts, then use this 3-part story structure to get people to click on the story, lead up to it, and give them the outcome that they're going to achieve by clicking on it. Does that make sense? If you lead up to it and tell them what the outcome is before they click on it, then by the time it gets time to click on it, they're going to be excited and wanting to learn more. But if you just create one story that says, click here, their attention span isn't all the way there yet. Okay, they might tap hold to read on their stories. If you know that feature, you can hold down a story so you can read it longer. But by anticipating that people will be tapping forward, creating this 3-part story structure is going to increase your engagement on your stories and increase their attention span. Makes sense. Make a story a story. Exactly, Kristen. So, different story types require more or less, like I said, so 3 to 13 slides, and anticipate your audience's engagement and their attention span on a particular topic. So the reason why I say that is because oftentimes I teach in my stories. I do many little workshops in my stories that could end up being 10 stories long. And so I happen to know that if someone's genuinely interested in the topic, they're probably going to stick with me through 10 stories. So I take the time to split it up into bite-sized stories that they can digest the information, and then they get a very clear call to action at the end. So I anticipate that they're going to be very engaged and then ready to take action at the end. And then use one of these next deadline techniques for your stories. So you've created a storyboard for your stories. The very last story will be your deadline or your call to action. So you're going to create that very last story with one of these deadlines. Send me a DM. So you can, at the bottom of your stories, you've got the send a message feature. Tell them to send you a DM, or maybe tell them to click the link. And I'll show a little more about what you can do if you don't have the swipe up feature. Or maybe share this story, take a screenshot and share it with someone. View my profile. So click through to my profile or click through to my post. Comment on my latest post. Leave me a comment on my post and save my latest post. So if you're sharing tips and tricks about something, or you're giving them heads up about something, maybe you're launching something, or maybe you've got a giveaway. Whatever your call to action is, it doesn't need to be a link. It could be any one of these meaningful social interactions, right? Leave a comment, save it, send me a message, or click a link. So if you've been on that, thinking that you just need to get people to click through to your blog or click through to your sales page, that's not always the best if you're trying to create an engaged following and build a relationship. And you also want to get Instagram to recognize that you have this relationship with people. So regularly going through these different types of meaningful social interactions will not only benefit you with the engagement of your followers, it'll benefit you with the algorithm and your relationship with your followers. Make sense? So create a deadline or a call to action to something. And maybe it's send me a DM. This is one trick that I absolutely love, because it can not only boost your social interactions, but it can actually grow sales. So if you want to create a coupon code or create a special sales link to something, tell people that they can DM you a specific word for the week. And when they DM you, you send them a link to something for sale, or you send them to a link with a coupon code to something. So not only are you creating that engagement and creating excitement about something, you are encouraging them to do this social interaction. So come up with creative techniques to get people to do these various different meaningful social interactions. Is Instagram like Facebook, where it flags posts with those engagement words like, follow, share, tag, etc.? Not that I know of, Kristen. I haven't heard of that in my circle of knowledge. So as far as I know, I don't think so. Okay, so moving on. So create a reason to view your profile too. So obviously you can see the technique here is to not just try to get people to click through to your blog, click through to your website. Of course, that's important when you're trying to create sales, but to encourage the deeper connection and the deeper communication will benefit you in the long run and get your audience frequently seeing and engaging with your content. So one way, if you're thinking, wow, this is a lot, wow, you know, I'm having all kinds of cool, fun ideas and I don't know really where to start, then what you can do is plan themes for your days and your weeks. So if you want to focus on getting people to send you messages in your DM, create a day of the week where you focus on that, or maybe a whole week where you focus on that. So create regular stories that your audience can look forward to, but that you've also developed a engagement strategy around. So maybe it's Motivation Monday, Tuesday tips, and those kinds of things. So create a theme around your days or your weeks, and keep in mind all of those engagement hacks that I've previously told you about. So as a bonus too, when you create your Instagram stories and you're, you know, thinking of Motivation Monday or Tuesday tips, use hashtags so that your stories grow more engagement and more reach to people who maybe aren't following you, because you can actually put in a hashtag in your stories using that little face sticker at the top. Click on it and click on the word hashtag, and you can add in that particular day's hashtag. So then if you do it on a regular basis, people will start to anticipate what's going to be in your stories on a particular day, and then it'll get you that increased regular flow of engagement. Okay, so some of the things that you can use to create brand continuity is to use templates. I'm sure because you're here, and if you've been following me for a while, you know that I'm all about stock photos and Canva and things like that. But the importance of brand continuity isn't necessarily to have the perfect looking stories. If that's something that you want to achieve, that's great. And I think that that's fine. But the most important thing for you to do is use things that are recognizable for your brand. So the one thing that I started doing is using yellow in my stories. And the reason why I started doing that was it's easy. It's easy for me to just tap on the yellow color in my stories if I want to do it on the fly. So it's easy for me. It creates brand continuity, and it makes people recognize my stories when they come up. So when they see yellow on their stories, they don't even have to probably like look and see whose stories it is. They usually know who it is. So I get tagged all the time with, you know, yellow content on Instagram, you know, saying like, you like yellow, don't you? So try to create something that's recognizable for your brand. So whether you use the same GIF stickers, or whether you use the same templates, or whether you use the same colors, create that brand continuity so that people get excited when they see your stories and know that it's your stories, unlike anyone else's, something very unique. So you can use canva.com to create templates on the go, They have a mobile app. You can also join our membership and get free stock photos, or join our upgraded membership and get templates as well. So do that. Definitely use templates and things to create brand continuity. So here are some ideas for content. So you could do behind the scenes or day-to-day stuff, okay? Get people engaging with what you're doing on a daily basis. You could do how-tos, tips and tricks, host a mini video workshop, or maybe just a text workshop. Teach something step by step. It doesn't need to be very long and in depth, but teaching something to your audience. Provide business updates, news, sales and promotions, obviously. Story takeovers. Story takeovers is very fun and engaging to do when you allow someone in your niche to take over your stories, or you go and take someone else's stories over. It creates a cross of audience. So their audience becomes engaged with you and you become engaged with them, and it can boost your following as well. Host giveaways, do shout outs to your clients. So if you create a branded hashtag, or if you start following people who have worked with you or who have considered working with you, start following them and start paying attention to the things that they're doing that maybe you might be helping them with. And then shout out to them, share their posts and share their stories in your stories. Maybe create some form of engagement loop. So you encourage people to post their something related to your content. So I know Kristen does lettering. So if Kristen posted, you know, every Monday, share your latest lettering, your latest art, your latest lettering art on Monday, tag this branded hashtag, then you follow that. Then every Monday you share it to your stories and start tagging your clients and things like that in your stories. And it gets people coming back to your stories, sending you messages saying thanks, going to your profile, all of that. MSI, meaningful social interaction. So whatever you can do to get engagement that way and doing shout outs to your clients, posting testimonials, showing maybe client before and after, that's always fun. So if people start seeing that you are talking about your past clients, they're going to start sending you their success stories, because they're going to want to see their stuff featured on your stories as well, right? And also sharing with you how you've helped them. And then of course your new blog posts and any upcoming things. So there is no endless amount of content ideas for your stories. It's just a matter of pairing up all of those engagement tips and tricks with these various different ideas for content. Is that making sense? I think it is. So one of the things you can do is do polls. You can do one of those classic polls, yes or no, or the emoji slider, if you've seen that. This is an easy way to get engagement. It's one of the easiest ways and the fastest ways to get engagement. You can use it to crowdsource ideas for products. You can use it through education. You can use it to learn more about your audience. So in this particular set of stories, I used the 3 storyboard technique, and I led up to something that people can swipe up on or click on. But in the middle, I used a poll sticker to ask a question to learn more about my audience so that I could better serve them once they got to the 90-day goal setting group that I was hosting, or that I am currently hosting. So by getting people to engage with more of your stories, the more often they're going to see your stories, and the more often they're going to come back and engage with your content. And then of course the question sticker. So if you were going to ask me, I want to find out more about my audience. I want to see what they like, what they don't like, to better inform my decisions going forward. If you were going to ask me which one you should do, a poll versus a question, I would absolutely say start with a poll. It is so much easier to when you're on your stories, it's so much easier for your audience to just hit yes or no. So much easier. So if you want to actually get in-depth answers to your questions, like I did here in this question that I asked, you need to lead up to it. Get people anticipating that you've got a question coming. So maybe start with the yes or no poll sticker, then maybe another story in between to buffer, and then the full question sticker like this one. Okay, so that's the best tip that I've got, because leading up to something that takes a little more time, you're going to get the quality followers at that point. Because the people who don't have time and the people who won't sit there and answer your questions are the people who are skipping ahead. So if you put your question at the end of a long series of stories, you're more likely going to get quality answers to your questions. Does that make sense? So start with the poll if you want to do something quick, and then lead up to the longer in-depth question, okay? So run Q&As, host a takeover where you are answering questions in the takeover. It's a great way to get feedback and get people to engage. And of course, story takeovers are longer, like I was saying, so multiple stories. And then ask for feedback on something. So if you launch something new or you have good ideas and you want to see if people are resonating with it, then definitely ask for feedback, start a general conversation, and show off your expertise or run a contest. So you can use question stickers for any one of these things. Running a contest would be fun if you we're going to host a giveaway or some kind of a contest, then maybe the people who are entering need to answer the question. So it's a great way to incentivize getting an answer to your questions, which is one of the things that you should be considering to get more engagement on your stories. Is how can you incentivize people to engage with your content, which goes back to when I was talking about people sending you a DM in exchange for like a coupon code, right? So anything you can do to incentivize people to engage with you, the more engagement you're going to get. All right, so the next thing that you can do for engagement is use a template from Canva like this. This one is like a this or that kind, or a fill in the blank kind. You've probably seen them where this is Instagram bingo. So someone will screenshot on their Instagram stories, take a screenshot of their screen and then post it to their stories and circle their answers or fill in the blank. So it's just a fun engagement way to get people to engage with and use your branded hashtag and tag you. So that's the other thing that you can do. And then of course there are these additional stickers like chat stickers, countdowns, and hashtags and location tags. So the one thing that I have when it comes to using some of these other stickers that are less common to use is tell people exactly what you want them to do. So it works exactly like when you're writing a blog post or when you're writing an email and you say, click here to do what? So if you put a countdown timer in your story, don't assume that people know that they can tap on that countdown and save it so that they get a reminder that something's happening. So when I hosted this live Q&A, I told people to actually tap it, and I got more people to tap it and save it and come to the live than if I had told people to do that. So the more often you tell people exactly what you want them to do, the more they're going to actually do it. So try not to assume that people know what you want them to do. So if you want people to swipe up, or if you want people to go to your profile, literally tell them what to do in order to do it, okay? The alternative to swipe up, by the way, is to tag yourself in your stories using the @mention sticker. So if you go back to the previous slides where I showed you, I led up to this photography bundle. Instead of the swipe up feature, let's say I didn't have 10,000 followers, I could have just said tap here to get a huge bundle of education from pros. And then I used a little arrow, and then I used the @mention sticker so people can click on my profile. Okay, so you can use that instead of a swipe up feature to get people to go to your links in your profile, which is a really easy and neat way to get that same effect for people. And again, I'm telling people exactly what to do, right? So we're not assuming people know what to do. We are actually telling them what kind of engagement we want from the stories. And, you know, you're not just telling them what to do, you're actually helping them. So whatever it is, you're just being of service. You're just showing them, hey, I've got something that's really going to help you. So just tap here. So we're not being salesy. We're not being pushy. We're literally just leading people to the thing that they want to achieve. Okay. Kristen says, whoa, great idea. I always use IGTV to get the swipe up and it was so much extra work. Yeah. Yep. This is way easier. So much easier. Anyways, next, let's just recap everything that we've covered. Know what your strategy is. Get very clear on who you're serving, why you're serving them, what you're showing up to do, and start creating the stories that gets them to take the actions that you want them to take. So any kind of engagement that creates meaningful social interaction is good. So you can share your behind the scenes photos, you can share spur of the moment stuff and be more authentic, or you can structure your stories with templates and schedule them ahead of time. Either way you do this, either way you try to achieve your goal, you know that what you're trying to do is get that meaningful social interaction so that people will start creating or engaging with your content more frequently. So know what your strategy is, create meaningful social interaction, and start engagement hacking your stories. And storyboard it. Create the 3 stories leading up to the action you want people to take. So if I were to take away one thing from this Instagram story training, it would be the storyboard technique. 1, 2, 3. If you hop on your stories and don't know what it is you want people to do, then I would second guess whether you should post that or not. But if you know what people want or know what you want people to do, then think about it for a minute. How can I storyboard this? How can I lead up to it? If I were going to quickly write a blog post about this, what would the headline be? What would the bullet points be? And what's the call to action? Create your 3 stories and watch how much more engagement you actually get. Okay, so that is my tip for you today. Now, if you're looking for apps and things like that to schedule your stories, there are so many out there. Planoly is one, Later is one, Plan That app is one, and there's even a specific platform just for scheduling your stories called Storito. Kind of like burrito, but Storito. So you can actually schedule your stories ahead of time using any one of those apps. But this is the technique. You can apply this to pre-scheduled stories, or you can do it on the fly. So what would I do next if I were you? I would definitely try to catch my other workshop on Instagram, where I dive deeper into engagement hacking through your posts as well. It uses a lot of these same techniques, but it's specific to your actual profile and your bio and your posts. So go to ivorymix.com/IG-workshop to get that workshop. It's completely free. It's on replay. So once you get to it, you'll have it for a few days so that you can watch it. And then consider joining the Ivory Mix membership. So I would join the Ivory Mix membership, my membership, for any captions to create your headline to deadline. So I create these captions for your Instagram. so that you can fill in the blank, and it starts with a headline and a deadline. So it always starts with a call to action, and it just gets your brain in that mode and gives you a place to start with your Instagram stories or your Instagram captions. So within the Ivory Mix membership, you get the headline to deadline captions, and then you also get stock photos, graphics, and Canva templates. That's it for today's workshop. So if you have questions about your Instagram stories, or you get questions about Instagram, or you have questions about my membership, or any of it, send me a DM at the Ivory Mix, follow me there. And yeah, so Kristen says, thank you, Kayla, for another great training. You're absolutely welcome. This one went by really fast, so definitely do hit up that other workshop at ivorymix.com, IG-workshop, for more on Instagram training. Ellen says, thanks so much, Kayla, great information, and the membership is a must. Thank you so much for saying that. I absolutely just want to create content that everybody finds easy to use, making growing their business super fun, because when it's difficult to grow your business and difficult to get engagement, then you just stop trying. So I'm trying to give you as much as I can to help you get excited every day and make it more easy and fun. So I thank you guys again. Have a great day, and we'll see you next time. Bye.